Hello. How are you guys doing today? I am here Um, yes, hello. Happy Wednesday to everybody. I believe it has been a week since I streamed. I know I canceled on Friday, and then I canceled on Monday, so yeah. Been a week. Yeah, I mean, I apologize for that. It's, nothing's like happened or anything. No reason for you guys to be worried. Or anything like that. Yeah, nothing happened. I just, I needed to take Friday, to work on a video I was editing for, Phoenix Down Photography. Kinda sorta sponsor of the stream, even though I always say that, but I've never once talked to them about it. Yeah, I was finishing editing a wedding video that I was contracted to do for them. So I needed to get that done on Friday. And then Monday I was just not up for it. I was tired. And felt like stream was gonna be exhausting and forced if I did it. So I didn't. Because, again, since kind of coming back to this break, if, for those of you who may just be watching on YouTube or aren't in the Discord, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like, leading up to coming back from the break, a lot of the things I was talking about was like, hey, like, if I come back to all this, like, I'm not gonna be doing the grind. I did that for the first year. And I was on social media. I was like posting every day. I was interacting and trying to like do all these different things and just the stuff that they tell you to do if you want to get known and be big. And we've got our little community here. Like I've got my people. I've got my friends that are interested. I got these people that I met throughout this journey that are interested. But I'm not gonna be like I'm just streaming. I'm just streaming when I wanna. I said that coming back that like I will try my best to adhere to the schedule I made with the like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But if I don't, I don't. Before it kind of felt like, oh, if I missed any single day, well, there goes the discoverability, there goes the numbers, there goes the this, the that, and it was just more stress than it was fun. And that's not why I want to do this. I just want to have fun. I want to take a couple hours, a few days a week, and just happen to be live while I'm doing whatever I want to do. And if people like it, they can come and watch. And if not, then they don't have to. So yeah, so hi. Welcome to stream.
Well, if you would take the time to educate yourself by watching a movie called Rampage, you'd know that a zookeeper could have stepped between them and used sign language to sign Henry family protect not hurt, and then unintentionally impress and arouse the younger zookeeper, not Huey from The Boys, but the blonde girl, and then reject her advances because who has time for that, until a meteorite hits and turns the gorilla like really big but ALS. And then they attack a city because radio signal, and then guess what? The zookeeper saves the city. So maybe you could stop underestimating zookeepers.
You know what's incredible? The first message played but didn't show up. So I'm only seeing the second message you sent. And that's really funny. Bro, what? Okay, so it wasn't just me. Yeah, like I had nothing pop up. Nothing came up on screen. Nothing came up in chat. It was just it was just TTS out of nowhere. We just got RKO'd by a Quoton's copy pasta. Hey, buddy. I don't know what we're doing today. We may jump back into Baldur's Gate 3. I'm definitely not, like, tired of it at all. Well, Twitch seems to have the one or other problem at the moment, as I heard. Gotcha. Yeah, we may get into Baldur's Gate. Whoop, there it is. Okay, so here we go. First message was, well, here it is. Was that based off of the, like, claymation fighting game for the N64? Well, the arcade. Oh, yeah, it was an arcade machine. You know what I want to do? I want to go to an arcade. How fucking long it's been since I've been to an arcade? About a year and a half. There's, we actually have one in town that, I like how they do it. So it's a small little arcade. But the cool thing is you pay for your time. You don't, like, pay money for the machines, like, for each individual game. You just pay a certain amount of money for the amount of time that you're going to be in there. And I think it's, like, $15 for... I don't remember, but it was a decent amount of time. I remember it being enough to where I didn't even finish, like, the time that I had. But yeah, so that was a lot of it was a lot of fun, and I liked that because I didn't have to worry about, like, oh, how much money do I have left? What do I want to play? You know, what do I want to waste my time and possibly waste my time and money on? Because you've already paid for it, so it's like, fuck it, I'll play whatever the fuck is free. And that was fun, but I was also alone. It was just me. Mana didn't want to do it, so she dropped me off like a child. And I told her to be back in an hour. Or maybe I just drove myself there. I don't know. Like I said, it was like 2 years ago. I don't fucking remember. But yeah, I feel like that would be like a cool hangout thing. Or is that just me? Does that sound not interesting at all to fellow males around the same age as me? Like Quotons, if you were here, either for a visit or like if you like moved back here and we were like hanging out one day, if I was like, hey man, are you free on Saturday? I really want to like go to the arcade for a little bit. Does that sound interesting, or does that sound like nothing you are interested in doing? You're not gonna hurt my feelings either way, but it just like you were talking about that, and I was just like, ooh man. I've been really nostalgic lately for I don't know how to put it. Like I've been nostalgic for not even like the stuff I grew up with. Like I mean, yes, but no more so than the usual background nostalgia. Like I really miss being in places that were built in like the 50s and 60s. Like for some reason I am nostalgic for like an aesthetic that I did not experience. Except for kind of doing so in like, you know, older family members' houses and stuff like that, and like stuff from like my childhood. But yeah, I was watching something earlier today, and it had like a real like mid to late 60s aesthetic to it, and I was just like, ooh, I want to be in that. I went to a barcade a few times in Indy and it was cool, but also if the machines were good, I'd always be down to get high and play arcade games. Yeah, I guess it also, like, an arcade's experience depends on the machines they have, huh? Went mini golfing with my fiance and the arcade selection was ridiculous. Definitely made me nostalgic. I miss going to Walther's. It's a place here in Evansville that's like putt-putt arcade and laser tag. Mon and I went there on a date years ago, like within like the first year or two of our relationship. And I think that was the last time I was there. My hesitation, I'll tell you, like, my exact thoughts were, we need Walther's. I'll tell you the reason that I haven't gone back. Like, why I haven't, like, even though I've been in this mood, why I haven't suggested it as, like, something Mana and I go and do. I don't know how expensive it is now. With the prices of how literally everything else has been, I'm hesitant to go to an arcade and be like, every fucking machine is $5, and just having that disappointment of showing up and being like, hun, let's go to Walther's, let's like make it a date. And we go there and it's like, hey, a round of mini golf is $23 per person, and every arcade machine is $3 to $5 per play. And then just having to be like, oh, that's way more expensive than I was planning this to be. And having to leave Walther's because it was too expensive. I don't want to deal with that mentally. Yeah, so the other thing actually that's here in Evansville that has been super successful always has a ton of hype. Sounds exactly like something I would do, I would like to do, and have never done it. Is we have a what do Quotons call it? A barcade. Called the High Score Saloon. And everyone says how great it is. They're actually opening up like a second location, or they moved. I don't remember, or both, maybe. Everyone says how great it is, and I've never gone. I should do that instead of bitching. I could also probably just look up the price of whatever they're doing at Walther's now, or just call and ask. I hate when websites don't put the price of their products or services on the website. And it's always just, you gotta call them, or you just gotta go. Like, I can't remember what it was, but there was some I was looking up a while ago, and it was just like, it listed their services, and at the bottom it was like, for prices, call our number. And I was like, I don't want to. The whole point of me going onto your website is to get all of the information about what you do without having to interact with anybody. Just put the price of your shit public. Why is Mana yelling at Winter? Hey, what's she doing? I don't know if you guys could hear. Winter keeps licking trash bags. She licks a lot of plastic things, which I know isn't a good habit, and we've been trying to get her to stop. But if you've ever owned a cat before, you know and understand that you are not in charge of them. They are in charge of you. So if they feel like licking plastic all day, that's what they're gonna do.
This little weirdo. This one, right here. This little bitch is licking a trash bag.
Hey, why? Why are you doing that?
Because I'm fucking weird. That's why.
You are.
You are pretty but not smart. The definition of head empty,
Cat.
no thought.
My cat licks bags too, and I heard that pathetic cry. Isn't she? It's so funny because like.
It doesn't help that ours is flavored essentially because somebody grabbed the mint trash
I
bags.
absolutely did that on purpose.
Why?
Because trash stinks, and I don't want it to.
It does. But now our cats are like, tasty bag.
I mean, whatever. The really it's not going to pick up on camera, but like the really cute thing about Winter is that she meows like with her mouth closed most of the time. And so when she stops the meow, like at the end of it, there's just this little puff of air that her cheeks, and it's so cute. Oh, I know. I know, you so pathetic. Put you over there. My cat licks bags. Millie loves to lick plastic tape. Okay, so I mean, yeah, like Winter does the same thing. If there was like a frayed bit of like tape on like a box or something, it gets picked up very silently. so sorry for stream today. My hands are weird. What is your guys' favorite flavor of pie? What's your favorite flavor of pie? This is stream today. Dubs, you're gonna have to speak English. Apple, pumpkin, or chocolate peanut butter. You know what they sell, like, year-round? Well, maybe not necessarily year-round, but, like, you know what they sell around here? That, I don't know if this is a southern thing or a Midwestern thing or what, but it's definitely not like a northern thing. Y'all eat sweet potato pie? It looks so good. But I think that's only because it looks like pumpkin pie. But I know it cannot taste the same. I don't know the name of it in English. Well, guess I'm just Googling that fucking word then. Donahue? That isn't it. No, right, I didn't copy. I didn't copy. Oh my fuck, that looks incredible. Hold on a second. Hold on a goddamn minute. Oh. Are you motherfuckers seeing this? Oh my god. Oh my god, that looks so good. That looks so good. I've only seen the South eat sweet potato pie. Never tried it, always curious. Yeah, like, I don't think it'd be bad. I just also can't, like, grab it off the shelf and eat it. Because of my betas. And I don't think Mana's ever made one before. So, like, one of us would have to make a sugar-free version of it. This fucking German shit looks so goddamn good. I need to brush my teeth. This microphone stinks. Traditional sheet cake, popular in Germany and Austria. It's made of layers of plain and chocolate pound cake combined to have a wavy border between them. It contains sour cherries and is topped with buttercream and chocolate glaze. That sounds really fucking good. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, I hope none of you are wearing headphones. I usually don't. Like, I burp and fart and all that other crap on stream. So, like, I'm not sorry for that, but I am sorry for that one. I don't fucking know. It's way too damn small. Give me a momento, por favor. I just need to be able to see you guys too. Hold on, hold the fuck on. There we go. I don't know, anyone seen any interesting news? Oh, Mana mentioned they announced a new Fable game. Well, I guess that just happened. Let's mute this for a second.
Oh, we're finally doing this, are we? Because I was going to make a sandwich. Okay. Let's do it.
Wow.
What do I think about heroes? Well, we've all seen them, haven't we? Swanning about the place with their disproportionately high cheekbones and comically massive weapons.
Wanker.
Roughing up bandits, because they like to rough up bandits, don't they? Living it up with the common folk every single night. On a day-to-day basis, I'd say the true hero is me, someone who's breaking new ground with fruit, with veg, on the agricultural side of things.
Just look at them.
Not wafting around mythical creatures. And that's what they are. Wafters.
Yeah, well done.
You see, I'm not here to slay legendary beasts. I'm here to conquer the vegetable, not a euphemism. Let's face it, the age of heroes is over. This is the age of innovation. This, if you will, is the age of death. One moment.
Oh.
This is awkward.
Yeah. Oh.
I've never played any of the Fable games. I've got I think I've got the trilogy on Steam. I know I've got some of them on Steam. I've got like whatever Fables the Lost Chapters is. I've got that. I know I've got 3. For some reason I don't know if I've got the second one. Or maybe I have 1 and 2. I don't know. I've got some Fable games on Steam. But I never played them. For some reason I've never really, like, I guess I was curious enough to get them. But never played them. For some reason never had the inclination to do so. So, but I will say that looked really cool. Like, just visually looked stunning. And of course I love Richard Ayoade. can't go wrong with him. I love him. I think he's fucking hilarious. Great pick for a game like that, it seems. But yeah, I basically just wanted to make the point and say that, like, as someone who is not a Fable fan, who knows zero about it at all, that looks pretty fun. That looks pretty interesting. Yeah, what other news? Does anyone have anything interesting? Any interesting bit of trivia? Any weird shit I can look up? What's going on? What's going on? Well, our crisis of the night is we were supposed to have sloppy joes, but we forgot the sauce, so it's hamburgers. Holy fuck. What are you guys gonna do? It's basically like you're on the Titanic. Man, I wish I could play Starfield. I wish I could be excited about the game, but I have no way of playing it. This PC does fine, but I also looked up, I can't remember the website, but there's a website that'll pull like PC games and then check them against your hardware to see if you can play them or not. And when I did that for Starfield, it said no. So the pool of the Titanic is still full of water. Yeah, I wish I could be hyped about Starfield. I wish I haven't looked up a single thing about it. You know, I've only seen the stuff that's reached like mainstream media. So the stuff like about like the leaks and the dude who was stupid enough to leak part of the game and then try and sell copies of the game ahead of launch and then uploaded the footage to his main fucking YouTube account, which was his real name. So I've seen all of that. And, you know, like, again, like, whatever, like, pops up on my Twitter feed or anything. But I haven't looked up any details about it because I'm not going to be able to play it. My PC can't run it, and I do not have an Xbox. And while I do not doubt it will be an incredible game, it is also not something that I am so psyched for that I'm going to go and buy an Xbox just to play it. Not that I even could. But, like, that's not even like a plan for me. That's not even a thought. I'd honestly probably just save up and buy a better graphics card for the PC. Because this thing isn't bad whatsoever. It's just not, you know, top of the line gaming PC. I had my eyes on one. I know that if I ever get an expendable $1,000, I know what I'm gonna get. I'll put it that way. I don't know what Mata and I are doing for dinner tonight. they took out some meat that was supposed to be for dinner tonight, but it was a 2-pound thing of ground beef that they put from the freezer to the fridge, so it's still frozen. More of whatever was in that TV. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh! Are you talking about that joke from the Discord when I was trying to sell my TV? That is exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I guess I could just sell more of that shit. I don't know why I'm just speculating about this. What do I have on Steam or not? Let me just fucking open Steam. Also want to see how many hours I have on Baldur's Gate now. I'm gonna guess around 80. Hold on. Private things. Okay, first of all, Baldur's Gate 3. 78.9 hours. Fable. I have Fable Anniversary, Fable The Lost Chapters, and Fable 3. I don't know what that means, but those are what I have. If anyone cares or is curious. So there's the Fable and Baldur's Gate mystery solved. I'm like an animatronic who's not in control. I'm also... I smoked a bowl before stream started, so... That's also happening. Oh, right, Winter's in here. Winter, do something. Do something. Be entertaining. We have an understanding. I understand that she doesn't care. And now she is on my desk. Hello, Bean. Oh. Come here. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, she definitely cares about that. Especially today, because it is wet food day. I don't know. I could just make the content that I enjoy watching. Except I don't want you guys to know my... fucking... I think you guys know it anyways. How the fuck did I mess up the word she? Bro, again, like, no offense. I don't mean any offense by this, but I just... if it's you, I don't question it. because my brain just always goes, he's German. Yeah, I don't know. We could just browse Am I the Asshole? Sort by top of... Let's go this month. Let's zoom in a bit here. That's not... Does that help you guys at all? Yeah, okay. Am I the asshole for checking my husband's dash cam footage on his car without his consent? I, 34-year-old woman, live with my husband, 37-year-old man, and daughter, 7-year-old girl. My daughter and I recently went on a short trip out of state while my husband stayed as he had work and was supposed to look after our dog. On the last day of our trip, we got a call from my husband who was acting distraught and said that our dog Ellie had run away and that he could not find her. He claimed she just bolted away from him in the park into some bushes and he could not find her. Our dog is quite small, a mini poodle mix and almost 13 years old. She is still active, but it is really unlike her to run away from us, and I was suspicious but chose to believe my husband, and me and my daughter were in grief but did not want to blame him. When we came back home, he seemed surprisingly okay, unlike us. Ever since the pandemic, my husband started working from home, and he has always been annoyed at how much attention we gave Ellie and hated how Ellie begged to sit on our laps while he worked. How Ellie begged to sit on our laps and his while he worked. A few days later, we got a call from the animal rescue in a neighboring state, quite far from us, that she had been found. I picked the phone. I'm guessing I picked up the phone, and it was our landline, which we almost never use these days, but was the contact on the microchip. I told my husband, and he just said, "That's great, I'm so happy," but it felt like kind of blunt and insincere. I said, "It is strange that she got so far," and he responded that someone must have stolen her and then abandoned her. This made little sense to me as to why that would happen. When he was out drinking with his buddies, I copied the video from his dash cam for the days I was away and saw that he had indeed taken Ellie far out of state and clearly dropped her in front of his car, thrown a frisbee-like object into a field, yelled fetch, and drove off without her. I was livid and confronted him, and he just stupidly muttered how he dropped her there so she could find a farm and have a better life, and then the next day got really angry at me for viewing his dash cam and called me and my daughter assholes. Okay, so first of all, calling your 7-year-old daughter an asshole? Bro, what? Obviously he's just being defensive because they caught him. You always love seeing this moderation. This thread is now locked due an excess of rule violations. Not the asshole. Keep your dog and daughter and leave the husband in another state to find another family he'd have a better life with. Wow, not the asshole. You had a gut feeling and were absolutely right. This is horrible. What your husband did is sick and cruel. He left an innocent animal to die. Obviously, what you do now is up to you, but if it were me, I would never be able to trust him again. The entire relationship would be ruined. He needs to seek therapy if he is so insecure that he is jealous of a dog. Pathetic excuse for a man. OP responded and said, "Oh, I will never trust him again, and I'm going to be seeing a lawyer very soon. I might have a lot to lose as I earn significantly more than him." Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think there's any question to this, right? Like, no, they're not the asshole. Like, I think it would be a different discussion if he if it didn't end up being true. I think there's definitely a discussion to have there, but and even if she was an asshole, like, definitely not to the degree of, I didn't like our dog anymore, so I abandoned it. So there's that. The fuck is happening here? Let's see. Okay. By the way, like, so on these things, like, Reddit can also, like, vote on this shit, and then, like, it'll tag it. The last one was determined that no, like, Reddit agreed she was not the asshole. Am I the asshole for giving future mother-in-law 3 days to pay me for a new wedding dress, or else I show the family photo of her wearing it? So I'm getting married to my fiance soon. I bought my wedding dress weeks ago. I'm guessing she meant mom, but his mom, my future mother-in-law, kept pestering me about trying it on, but I firmly refused. I finally shut it down after she offered me $100 to let her try it on. Her reasoning for persisting so much, she says it's because of her love for wedding dresses and her obsession with them. Fast forward to today. I came home from work early and found my fiancé at home. He freaked out after seeing me and tried to prevent me from going into my room while trying to text somebody on his phone. I opened the door and was shocked to see his mom standing there in my dress. I instantly pulled out my phone and took a photo of her in it. She and my fiance freaked out after I told her that she needed to pay me for a new dress in 3 days, or else I'll show the whole family the photo. She started crying and then left, and my fiance blew up at me saying I can't be serious and that I overreacted because his mom just wanted to try the dress on, no harm done. But I refused to listen to him because, in my opinion, the dress should only be worn by the bride and the bride only. Quite frankly, I felt disgusted looking at that dress again. I don't want it anymore. And so I think it's fair that she pays me after she ruined it for me. He yelled at me and told me to wake up and stop treating his mom like that, as if she was an enemy. We had a fight after he failed to get me to back down, and he's been staying with his mom since then. I felt awful, but I spent $3,000 on the dress and worked hard to get it. I can't stand looking at it, but people in my family think I'm escalating things and risking my relationship with not only my future mother-in-law, but my fiance as well. Am I the asshole? The mom's behavior is weird, but this lady's a nutcase. Yeah, I think that, to me, this is a situation of everyone's the asshole. Like, her mom's weird for, like, not backing down about asking at first, and then, you know, her being like, look, the only reason I'm asking you to try it on so much is because I love wedding dresses, and I just think it should be worn. And if this, you know, her future daughter-in-law is like, no, I don't want to, like, I'm not going to be wearing my dress until the fucking wedding day, then that should have been the end of that. Her doing this is really weird. Her fiance defending it is really weird. But she's also blowing it way out of proportion too. Of like, I get the mental process. Like, I understand the train of thought of like not wanting to wear it anymore. But also, like, her saying that, like, her future mother-in-law if like taking the photo and then blackmailing her into making her pay for a new dress is fucking ridiculous. Like, I think it should have just been a conversation. It didn't need to instantly escalate to fucking blackmail. There is an update, though. Update. Oh my god, this blew up. And so I thought I'd add some updates. My fiance called and offered to pay for the dress himself so we can end the conflict, but he wants me to hand him my phone so he can delete the photo himself, swear that I don't own any copies to use against his mom later, apologize to his mom, and lastly, he asked that I quit his family group chat and log out of Facebook for at least a month. I haven't responded yet. P.S. He called with this offer/conditions hours ago, but I didn't want to include this in the post, but now I did. Also, I'm not sure if I'll agree because I don't want him to pay for it. I want his mom, the one who wore it, to pay for it. Not being vicious, but trying to hold her accountable. I'm torn. I kind of lean on the bride, but my thoughts are probably clouded because I'm about to get married myself. So, for sure. Understandable. So actually, with you being in that position, do you agree, like, with... First of all, I want to say, after this update, it's even crazier. And I think this is also showing who the fiance is, because, like, he's the ultimatum kind of guy. He's like, he's like, okay, here's the deal. You can either do this shit, or, you know, like, I don't know, maybe there's no wedding or whatever. So this is for sure a everyone's the asshole situation. The mom's an asshole, the fiance's an asshole, this lady's an asshole. The core of it, I would be so much more understanding about if it wasn't for her response to it. I understand being upset. And I understand wanting the mom to, I guess, like, contribute in fixing the situation some way, or at the very least, like, fucking apologizing for it. But to go about it in the way that she did feels extreme. Not the asshole, but are you sure you want to marry this guy? He stood guard outside your bedroom so that his mother could try on your wedding dress. Do you think he will ever stand up for you against her? Not the asshole, but the problem isn't just your future mother-in-law, it's your fiance. He let her in. He was going to lie and hide from you that she tried it on. He is defending her actions. Blah, blah, blah. Fiance is acting completely nuts, especially leaning on the family. I don't know if I'd go so much as blackmail, but I would definitely use it as a form of shame. And I'd want some form of compensation because it is a very unique feeling having your wedding dress. I think the fiance is showing he'll choose family over her, which isn't good. Yeah, I do. I also agree that, like, the fiance side of the situation is much worse than she is. But yeah, again, I think it's just the way that she's, like, the way that she went about the whole thing. Hold on a second. It's hot as balls in here. Am I the asshole for calling my coworker a nosy bitch after she kept insisting to know my husband's salary? So off the bat, I'm going to say probably not. Hi, Nova. Hey, I can't be giving all you guys attention. I gotta be doing this thing. But hello. My husband and I, both 33, have been together since college. Over the years, he's had quite the career trajectory. He's a quaint PM and makes like 10 times what I make, and I make a good salary. As we've grown wealthier, I've learned that people become nosier. Friends, acquaintances, relatives, you name it. In the beginning, I would entertain the nosy questions, but since I turned 30, I've adopted a take-no-shit attitude. When people ask me how much he makes, I no longer say anything. I've learned the hard way that giving an exact number can have bad consequences. My coworker, 25, is new, and she already has quite a reputation. Very chatty, catty, gossipy, you get the gist. You can just tell she craves wealth and status. She wears a bunch of flashy designer items and is always asking the ladies around the office which of the men are single. Last Friday, our office hosted an afternoon happy hour. She approached me and asked how me and my husband's recent vacation to Europe went. I told her it went well and briefly summarized what we did. Then the conversation went something like this. Her. So what does your husband do? Me. He works in finance. So what does PM mean? He works in finance. Her. Oh, wow, he must make a ton then to be taking you on all these lavish vacations. I hope you don't mind me asking, but how much does he make in a year? Me. Yes, we're very lucky that he makes a good salary. Oh my god. Salary. Polite smile. Her. Oh, come on. I won't tell anyone. How much does he make in a year? Millions? Me. Awkward chuckle. I'd rather not say, but it's up there. Her. What, he doesn't allow you to give an exact number or something? Me. Visibly annoyed. No, I just prefer not to say. Her. Laughs in my face. You'd think the stuck-up one would be the one with the money, not the one without. Me. You should learn how to take a no for an answer and when to quit being a nosy bitch. It's a valuable lesson. Then I smiled at her and walked away. Later on, I had a few co-workers reach out to me and say that she was crying and left early and that I should apologize for calling her a rude name. I refused. I told my mom and she said I was too rude to the new girl and that she's young and might not fully understand salary talk. I think she's old enough. Husband is fully on my side, but maybe I should fake apologize for the sake of office politics, which I somewhat agree with. But still, am I the asshole? No. I think she just did what we all want to do in those situations. She just kind of had the balls to do it because she, like, I feel like many of us who are at this age now are like, I don't give a shit anymore. Being, like, hiding your emotions about this shit is just so exhausting by now, and we're all dealing with too much other shit to care anymore. So, like, I think a lot of us are finally getting to that point where we're like, fuck the whole, I mean, like, for forever, fuck the whole, like, customer is always right sort of thing. And I know that doesn't necessarily, like, call to this specifically, but it is, like, it's the whole, like, be completely polite, don't say what's on your mind, no matter how rude and, like, the other person is being. And it's like, you know what? No. If you're gonna be an asshole to me, if you're gonna be a rude bitch, I'm gonna call you a rude bitch. And she was being rude. Like, especially someone younger than her, who again, like, has also grown up in this age where, like, consent has become so much more of a forward thing, as it should be. You would think she'd be a little more understanding when someone else, another woman, was very clearly like, you know, like, she did even say, like, I could kind of get if she just kept tiptoeing around it, but, like, after the second ask, she's like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, no, and I'm not going to tell you. But for her to keep pushing and then insult her, I think she was perfectly fine to be like, you need to learn when no is a no and quit being a nosy bitch. And yeah, also, like, I don't know how things are in Germany for you, Dubs, although, like, you were the one who did just say, like, you don't talk about money, so I'm guessing that's still kind of the thing there as well, of, like, yeah, like, our parents raised us with that idea that, like, you don't talk about money. You don't talk about personal finances. You be intentionally vague about it. You don't talk about exact numbers, this and that. Which, unfortunately, to a degree, to where now people of our generation raised on those ideals don't know what the fuck we're doing, because no one would talk about these things. And then we get blamed when we're, quote unquote, not handling things correctly, even though 80% of the time that's not even our own fucking fault. Anyways, it really just boils down to, she said no, you kept pushing, and then insulted her, so she insulted you back, and then your glass ego couldn't fucking take it and cried and left. Which, even that was probably just for attention, and to do exactly what happened, like to get everyone on her side. I know women like her, the type to find out it's millions and then start sleazing all over your husband, not the asshole. And then OP responded, "Oh, trust me, I know exactly what you mean. I've encountered my fair share of those too, and my new coworker is definitely one of them. Not the asshole, report her to HR. She kind of low-key tried to get to know his salary so she can hang on him and be his girlfriend." OP said, "I could definitely see her as the type of woman to throw herself onto married men if they have enough money." Yeah, I mean, this one, at least from the perspective we are given, seems pretty cut and dry. Am I the asshole? I took $2,000 to get off the plane and came home late. Delta gave me $2,000 to skip my flight. This is $2,000 that can be spent anywhere. The flight looked like it was going to get canceled anyway. It did. So now I have $2,000 and a hotel stay, but my fiance is mad at me because I chose the money over coming home, but it looked like the flight was going to be canceled. Not to mention, I called once and texted once to ask her opinion, and she didn't answer either, so I had to make the decision by myself. She claims because she's been in a semi-depressed state the last few days, it is crazy of me to ever make that decision. She has not communicated to me well enough how bad she really is right now. Last night when we spoke and she seemed better. Last night we spoke and she seemed better. So again, given that we are given one perspective on the situation and not a ton of information, no, I don't believe he's the asshole, but he could be like this whole, like, well, I didn't think she, like, semi-depressed, and, like, she didn't communicate it well enough how bad it was. Who knows? Maybe she didn't communicate how bad her depression had gotten in his absence, and is upset at the feeling that he would rather take the money and be away from her longer instead of just getting home as quickly as he could. But if we take this at face value, no, because he was offered $2,000 to skip a flight, and I think he said, the flight looked like it was going to get canceled anyway. It did. So, like, and he tried to get a hold of her, and she wasn't able to answer. Not saying that she was, like, ignoring him or anything like that, that was, like, her fault. But, like, he did end up having to make the call himself, and he made it. So, like, not only did he get the $2,000, but the flight that the flight got canceled anyways. So he still wouldn't have made it home on that flight regardless. So again, with the perspective we're given and the information that we have, I would say he's not the asshole, but the whole thing of him saying like semi-depressed and like she didn't communicate how bad it was, can be one of those shaky things. And even like is like not the asshole unless you miss something important, take the money. You know what would make me feel better? My husband telling me he just earned $2,000 in 24 hours. Hopefully it's hopefully in a good relationship. It benefits both of you. This person said, "Oh, okay." Not the asshole. When she didn't answer the call or text to provide her opinion, you made a financial sound decision by yourself. End of story. Her depression over the last few days, I presume, was while you were away and is irrelevant to your decision-making process. And she did not share with you any of her concerns. Sound like she hasn't really done that yet anyways. I don't like how that's kind of phrased. This comes off a little douchey, but then I saw this. Look at OP's post history. That depression might be from the fact that his girlfriend is having an emotional affair by fanning the flames of her ex's sexual advances and refusing to set boundaries. So in her mind, if she can act like this behind her significant other's back, then everyone else, including OP, is. It's called projection. I mean, again, if that's true, like, it sounds like there's a lot more there than what we know about. Am I the asshole for telling my sister her son is only special to her? Once again, just going off the title, I'm going to give a projection of yes. I, 26-year-old woman, have 3 older siblings. This is about my oldest sister, Abby, 37-year-old woman. Abby has a son, 5, and I have a daughter, 1. Abby dealt with years of fertility issues and had probably 10 plus miscarriages. Then she had her son, and of course, she was Abby's miracle rainbow baby. We were so happy for her. But then it leads to Abby spoiling her son and letting him get away with everything because he's a, quote, miracle and he's, quote, special. Everyone has always bit their tongue when it comes to her son because of that. On Saturday, I had my daughter's first birthday party. It was mostly family and a few of my close friends were invited. I invited Abby and her son because everyone else in our family was invited, so I felt bad excluding her. We had different activities for the kids to do. Abby's son didn't like any of them. He was upset none of the presents were for him. He didn't want to eat any of the food we had. He then decided to try and push the cake off the table because apparently he was mad the cake wasn't his. I got super upset at Abby for allowing her son to act that way. She went on to say her son is special. I said her son is only special to her, which is understandable. No, it isn't. But to everyone else, he's a spoiled brat. Oh, it is only special to her, which is understandable. But to everyone else, he's a spoiled brat, which shouldn't be overlooked because he was your special miracle baby. Abby called me a bitch and left crying. A few family members have since called me an asshole because I've never dealt with a miscarriage, so I don't understand how painful it was for Abby to deal with the years of that before her son. It's not that I don't realize her son is special to her, but it doesn't give the excuse for Abby to allow him to act like a spoiled brat. Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, the last sentence kind of summed up everything. again, we are given one perspective in this short little window into this straw hole into these people's lives. Do I understand, and it seems like OP does as well, that of course she's going to coddle and treat her child like the most precious object in the entire universe? Yes. But I think it's also on everybody around her, like her family, for putting up with it for this long, like for allowing it to get to this point. And I do, at least I put that blame on the family around her, because I don't expect her to have done that on her own at all. I think after 10 plus miscarriages, I don't blame that woman one single bit for raising him how she has. However, she still shouldn't. But I feel like the onus is also on those around her for being like, hey, like, we get it, but you've got to you've got to discipline him. Like, he's got to know. Like, you have to be a parent, and sometimes that means doing things that are going to upset your children so that they learn those lessons. Let's see what some of the comments are saying. So I have dealt with multiple miscarriages and do understand the pain. Still not the asshole. Not the asshole, you are 100% correct. While he is her miracle baby, no one else in the world is going to coddle him except her, and she is raising him to be a spoiled, entitled brat, which will only bring him issues later in life. He needs some manners and discipline, and your sister needs a wake-up call. What is she going to say to the police when he gets arrested for his bad behavior? But officer, he's my miracle baby. He didn't mean to steal / assault someone / whatever stupid thing he did because he thinks he can get away with it. It's better she realizes this now that when he's it's better she realizes this now than when he's older and there are real life consequences to his actions. Yeah. Yeah. Again, pretty cut and dry, I think. I'm all of these have been not the asshole. I want to find one where the person was declared the asshole. Let's see some of that. Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. This isn't fun. Asshole! I found an asshole. Oh boy. So I'm gonna be safe ahead of time and just say possible trigger warnings to anyone in chat or to anyone who may be watching this like on YouTube or anything later. Am I the asshole for how I, 37-year-old man, reacted to my son, 17-year-old male, coming out to me? Using my lurking account. Yeah, I wonder why. It's been pointed out my title wording makes the post seem worse than it is. I apologize for that. It wasn't my intention. Okay, I guess that's why you were declared an asshole. So, I've always known my son had an interest in men. He was slow on the pickup of incognito mode and made the searches he made. And from the searches he made, I figured he was at least bi-curious, if that's the proper term for it, since he hit puberty. Well, last year he started bringing a boy around, and it was obvious they were dating, to the point I figured that he knew I knew, and it wasn't a big deal to anyone. Well, apparently I was wrong. After school yesterday, he and his boyfriend came up to me and said there was something really important they needed to tell me. My son said that they were dating and had been for a year. Well, I was surprised that he wasn't aware I knew and was a bit thrown off. My mouth moved faster than my brain, and I said, well, that's pretty fucking gay. Now, I thought that was peak comedy, since it is, in fact, gay. However, I understand using the word gay in that way gives it a very negative undertone, hence the mouth faster than brain comment. Now, my son and I are usually pretty edgy with our humor, this being fairly tame for the stuff we normally joke about. While probably not appropriate for the situation, it wasn't our norm for a conversation between us. However, he and his boyfriend were very, very upset and left. I'm probably the asshole, but I thought I would check and see if y'all had some advice on what I can say to fix it. He currently won't respond to my text or calls. I'm guessing this is an edit or an update. I did not expect this to gain so much traction. It's a bit intimidating. I'm reading all the comments, though. Anyways, here's a small update. He's at his grandparents' house, which I knew. He told them to tell me he'll be home tomorrow after school to talk. I'll update you after the conversation. Thanks for your responses. I appreciate it. There's no update, though. This was posted 6 days ago. What happened? You're the asshole for the wording. I won't lie, as someone who has been out and proud for years, that joke made me laugh my ass off. But your son needed support more than humor. In the grand scheme of things, though, I was expecting much, much worse from the title. So I think if you just apologize and explain that you meant it in a humorous way, and that you fully accept him and his partner, you and your son will be fine. I suppose it is a little clickbaity when you consider how other parents react. Man, that's really fucking funny. Dad, this is my boyfriend. We've been dating for nearly a year. That's pretty fucking gay, son. No, Dad, no. That's not what you do. All right, hold on. Dub's got us a clip here. Oh, hold on. It is not the one that you guys are looking at. Shit. Hold on. I don't know how things work. Ugh, for fuck's sake. Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. This isn't fun. Asshole! I found an asshole. Thank you, Dubs. Thank you for that. That was really good, actually. Okay. I love the, hold on, let me make sure this is still good. Okay, that's still good. Okay, turn this down a little bit. Alright. Am I the asshole for asking my sister what the fuck she expected to happen at her shit show of a bachelorette party? I didn't even look at what this was declared. I clicked because of the fucking title. For some reason, so the OP is 32-year-old woman, her sister's 23, and her sister's fiance is 25. For some reason, my sister and her fiance decided that the very best way to celebrate before getting married was to have a joint bachelorette party at strip clubs. They also hired a bus limo for the evening. The aftermath was, thus far, 3 breakups, 4 people dropping out of the wedding party, 1 impending divorce, and 1 arrest. The cleaning bill for the limo was more than the original rental fee also. She was crying to our mom at dinner the other day, and I snorted. I tried not to. I honestly did. I was trying my best to just keep my mouth shut. She asked me what was so funny. I said that I wasn't sure what she expected to happen at getting a group of people drunk, using illicit substances, and getting horned up watching exotic dancers. She said that I was an asshole for judging her and her friends. I said I wasn't judging, just that literally anyone could have seen that outcome. My mom told me to apologize because my sister's having to replace most of her wedding party on the fly. I did, but I still think I'm right. Am I the asshole? Info. Is there anything other than the overall party plan that made this likely to be a mess? Did they buy a bunch of coke and order sex workers too? Because there's no actual reason a group of adults can't go to a strip club, get tipsy, and have a nice time and not descend into chaos. Edit to add, you're the asshole. No sex workers. Let's leave it at that. I guess this is her breaking down and giving more information. Fine. The maid of honor and her boyfriend did not break up. The other bridesmaid, who is married, was in an Eiffel Tower with 2 of the groomsmen. 1 groomsman has dropped out along with the bridesmaid. Her husband has left her because I guess this isn't the first time. The other groomsman in that group has no fucks to give and will be attending. We are lucky that by the time the cops showed up, everything illegal had been taken, eaten, ingested, or swallowed. I stayed mostly sober and stayed with my sister all night so she could party and not do anything too stupid. My husband also attended, and I had tasked him with keeping an eye on the groom. He decided the best way to keep the groom out of trouble was to get him pants shitting drunk, which he accomplished with the only casualty being some underwear and a sock and a pair of Levi's. The bus/limo came out as the worst victim in the whole debacle. It needs a biohazard cleanup and maybe some upholstery replaced. My dad is pissed. After reading the comments, I went to see my sister this morning and gave a more sincere apology. She asked me to be the matron of honor, and I accepted. If anyone here is free Saturday, we still need someone to sing The Rose during the ceremony since my cousin is currently persona non grata. I only know about the breakups from hearsay, but suffice it to say that getting a group of friends who have a lot of sexual history together and giving them drugs and alcohol and then taking them out to see naked people is a terrific idea if you are not getting married in a week. I mean, yeah, go fucking figure. I wanted to go back to this guy real quick and see if he posted like an update as a separate thing. I'm gonna do that off camera. This guy posted on a bunch of, like, relationship advice, relationships. Like, he posted on a bunch of different places being like, how do I best apologize to my son for making a joke when he came out to me? Yeah, but he never actually posted, like, an update. Yeah, he hasn't posted since then. We got a bunch of poopy dicks. Okay, so that was an asshole. Here's another asshole. Would I be the asshole if I don't change my son's name even though it may cause him to lose an inheritance? I, 24, got pregnant while I was taking a gap year traveling. I met an older guy, nothing gross. I was 19 and he was 23. We had fun. I was working in a bar to make money while I explored the city. When I got pregnant, he lost interest really quickly. I understood, but I am also pro-choice, and I chose not to terminate. I went home and had my son. I also made sure to get child support. He could afford it. He did fight it though. I had to prove paternity and everything. Through that, his parents found out. They're well off. They have met my son and they truly do seem to love him. They have provided gifts for his birthday and Christmas. They helped me with extra money so I could complete my university without going into debt. They have taken us on vacation with them so they could spend time with him. They aren't my biggest fans, but we are cordial to each other. 3 months ago, my son's father passed away. He got drunk at his bachelor party, tripped on the sidewalk, and hit his head, and that was all she wrote. My son and I attended the funeral. We spent a week in that city so his grandparents could see him. They approached me with an offer. They had no other children or grandchildren. Their son was only 28, so he had lots of time to provide them legitimate kids. They did not say this, I'm just assuming, so they never thought about my son's name. They said that if I changed his surname to theirs legally, they would make him their primary heir. I think this is dumb. He is their only grandchild and they would deny him an inheritance because of his last name. I said I would consider it, to be polite, and have left it at that. I actually have a pretty good life as it is. My family has been very supportive, and because of the whole court thing, my son's father had to have life insurance with him as the beneficiary. Would it be nice for my kid to get a big sum of money? Yes. Do I want him to have the surname of a man who didn't want him, see him, or love him? No. I've been talking to my family about it, and a few of them think I'm being an asshole for giving up this kind of money for my son. It is generational wealth, and I'm making the decision based on emotion. I think they are assholes for thinking money is the only thing that matters. I think I will tell my son's grandparents that they can talk to him about it when he is 16. He will be old enough to understand the implications, but young enough not to be tied professionally to his last name. I think that's an incredibly mature way of going about it. But I think I clicked on this because this was dubbed that they were the asshole. You're the asshole. Fuck that dude, but also you're kind of screwing your kid by not changing the name. That money is your child's future, and guess what? They'll probably want it regardless of y'all's beef. If they find out, that could also wreck y'all's relationship. Everyone's the asshole. Get the bag. You can be honoring the grandparents that have been involved in your son's life, and ultimately your kid can change the name if they don't like it, but the money can allow your child to pursue their dreams without having to worry about the stress of loans, etc. Here we go. I get where you are coming from in the sense that you aren't fond of him having a name that is tied to his dad, who didn't want anything to do with him. However, I just want to give you some things to think about. His paternal grandparents didn't want a relationship with him, and his paternal grandparents did want a relationship with him and have helped out, so the last name is also tied to them who do want him in their life. You were looking at the as they would totally deny him an inheritance because of his last name, but they didn't say they would exclude him altogether. They said he would be the primary heir. Maybe that means without the last name that all property would be sold and all money would be split with other family members, charities, etc. But if he has their last name, that all properties and most money would go to him with little splitting of the money to anybody else. You think that you can wait until he's 16, but that's 11-ish years away. What if something happens to them before then? How do you think your son will feel if he doesn't get this and finds out that he could have had generational wealth and never would have to worry about money, and all you had to do was simply change his last name? I mean, personally, if someone had told my mom I could get generational wealth as long as she named me dumbass hoe, and my mom didn't, and I found out, I would be mad at my mom that my mom didn't rename me. I mean, also depends on the last name, right? So here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead. I disagree with Reddit on this one. I don't think she's an asshole, and I think all these people are idiots. Because, to me, like, here's the thing. I agree with that, with the sentiment here of, like, yeah, if I found out that I could have had, like that I would literally, like, not have to worry about money for, like, if I could have gained a substantial amount of money and all my parents had to do was, like, give me a different name. So actually, I'll say this. I think I've talked about it, like, a small number of times on stream. I'm adopted. I've known my whole life. I know very little about my birth family. But if I found out that I could have gotten, like, tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even into $1 million or more, but my parents had to, like, keep my name from, like, that family, I think I would have understood their decision, but there would definitely be a large part of me, I think, that would, with everything, with like 99% of the problems that I currently have in my life financial related, yes, I do think I would be pretty upset, because a name is something that you can just it costs like $150 and you can change your name. So while I would be understanding from their point of view of they wouldn't want to raise a child with a name that was not their family, I would get how possibly, like, painful that would be. And I do think I would understand and forgive them. But I would be lying if I said there wouldn't be a part of me that was also regretful and angry that they either didn't do it or had some sort of conversation about it. All of that being said, I can understand how big of a decision this is for someone to make. It seems like she's pretty much alone in it. There's no, like, she didn't mention anything about getting into another relationship. It sounds like she's been, raising him on her own with child support, but still, like, as a single mother. And that was, he seems to be around 5. And, yes, it's over a decade away for him to be around that age that she's thinking, which is obviously a ton of time for something to happen to them, whether that's an accident like their son or disease or just natural causes. We don't know how old the grandparents are. Maybe they're older. So I get that. I for sure think that her suggestion is not, like, it's a good suggestion. What I think she should do is, like so many posts on Reddit I see asking what people should do in any situation, because it's kind of taken over the D&D subreddit that I'm on, and it's real fucking annoying. Here's the solution. Go and talk to them. Go and fucking talk to them. Go communicate what you're feeling and have a conversation. You know, it just, like, I understand. Believe me, I understand. Feeling awkward about having a conversation like that and not wanting to do it. And I am such a non-confrontational person. I very much, like, when it comes to things happening to other people, I am your biggest advocate for, like, standing up for yourself and doing what's right and going and having an open communication with somebody. But then when, like, this shit, like, starts to happen to me is when I'll be like, it's okay, like, no, I don't have to, or like, it's you know, it's all right, like, I'll just keep that to myself and just, you know, keep going. So I understand it is always easier to speak as an outsider than it is the person in the situation. That being said, what I think the best course of action for this situation would be is for her to go to the grandparents and just tell them these things and be like, hey, I am so appreciative of you guys being in my son's life, considering him your grandson, even though his father didn't consider him a son. Like, it means so much that, you know, that you guys love him and care for him just as much as I do. I am grateful for the offer you are providing of possibly giving him this inheritance, because you want it to go to him and not to just go to, you know, other people and or the government or, like, you know, whatever they currently have in their will, if they have one. However, his father and I did not have a relationship, and while I appreciate what you guys do for him, my gut reaction is that I do not want him to carry his father's name, because I don't want to be... It's more of a reminder of that man and his lack of connection with my son than it is your connection with him. And then just go from there. Just see where the conversation goes, because maybe they would be like, okay, we perfectly understand. We're still going to give him the inheritance. We just wanted to put this out there as something we wanted, because of course we love him and we want to provide for him in the event of our passing, and without any children or grandchildren besides him, we wanted our family name to continue. But if you are not comfortable with that, then we understand. Like, because it could be like, without having this conversation, she doesn't know what their point of view on it is. Like, and again, granted, we also don't know how strict they may have sounded in their initial conversation about the subject. So, you know, maybe they were, like, very firm about it. But maybe she goes back to them and is just like, hey, like, I so appreciate it, but I'm not sure if I can do it. Or I want to wait and leave such a decision up to him when he comes of, like, a more mentally mature and self-aware age, and maybe they'll be like, perfectly fine. Again, like, it means a lot to us, but it means more to us that, you know, that you're not affected negatively in that way, or that he isn't either. We just wanted to put it out there. Or, you know, maybe there is a middle ground. Like, maybe she says all that and they're like, well, we kind of had it set that, like, you know, we would absolutely provide for him, but the stipulation was that, you know, he carried our name. You know, what can we do to find a middle ground? Maybe they agree that, like, it's his middle name. You know, like, he can still carry, you know, OP's last name, like her family name, but maybe she makes his middle name, you know, the father and grandfather's, or the father and grandparents' last name. You know, I feel like there's a compromise here somewhere. Not everything has to be a for sure yes and no. But I also I disagree with Reddit that, like, she's an asshole for this. Like, if she flipped out and, like, told them no to their face and was, like, all up in arms about it and stormed out and said that, you know, because of this, like, I'm not allowing them to see him anymore until they, like, rescind it or apologize or say they'll give him the inheritance anyways, then yes, she would 100% be the asshole. But she doesn't know what to do in the situation, and she's wanting it to be his decision since he's the one being affected by it. So I understand where she's coming from. I still think she needs to go and have a conversation with the grandparents and maybe see if there's a middle ground, or if this is even this big of an issue to begin with, and then go from there. I definitely don't think she should have been labeled the asshole. Alright, guys, I am going to leave it there for today. Thank you guys for joining me today, especially since we didn't, like, do any Baldur's Gate or anything, and I also canceled the last 2 days for the last week. I'm sorry, guys. But I really appreciate you guys being here when I am here, and sticking around with me for pretty much no matter what I do as far as content goes. Gonna raid somebody today? I don't know. Let me check.
Hey, look at that truck.
Had to get that in, huh, buddy? No one is online. So no. But thank you for the reminder, Dubs. Yeah, I'll just leave it there, and hopefully I will see you guys on Friday with something. Okay?